you see everyone else take it and Steven pretending to take it. And I noted that Steven loves to be in control. He purposely, to me, didn't take it because he wants to always be in control, see what's happened, never allow himself to be in a vulnerable situation.
Welcome back to another episode of Positively Uncensored, your favorite reality TV and interview podcast. I am so excited because we are going to be diving into Tell Me Lies Season 3, and I'm not alone. I am with my best friend and podcaster,
Bri the Black Sheep, the Black Bachelorette, self proclaimed. Thank you for having me on today, bestie.
I always love talking. This is my best friend. We talk 6 out of 7 days a week. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, we
Honestly,
do. We do.
we do. We do. But we decided that we need to record our conversations on Tell Me Lies. So we are going to be your two favorite people this season. We're going to keep you entertained all season. We're going to deep dive and analyze every single episode. This episode, we're going to be diving into episode 1, You Fucked It, Friend, which is the title of episode 1 of Tell Me Lies season 3, episode 1. So we start in 2015. We are at Bri's wedding. She is listening to the rest of the voicemail that Steven left for her, looking at herself in the mirror as Lucy is walking up behind her, trying to give her comfort on her big day. Now, of course, everybody around Bri has no idea that what she's listening to is perhaps the most diabolical thing to send somebody on their wedding day, and confirmation that Steven plays a long game. He is truly twisted. Now, we don't know exactly what Bri hears Steven say at the end of this message, but whatever it is causes her to shrug off Lucy, run out to the hallway, and tell Lucy that she is the worst person ever. She's a terrible person, the worst person that you know. Any thoughts on this?
Yes, because mind you, simultaneously, Lucy is running around trying to find Steven. So it's like that unnerving feeling that she knows something is about to happen. And Diana literally says, it's isn't it awful when you don't know where he is because you don't know what's about to happen. And like you said, Pippa is trying to shake Lucy back to reality. So that setup and that build to this moment where Bree says that, it kind of throws you for a loop because we feel like we're about to address the Evan and Lucy thing. And she's like, oh no, something worse is happening that I feel like this.
It's also astonishing. I'm just now settling in. Like, her first reaction when she kind of glared at Lucy made me think she was about to tell her, fuck you. Now you're not going to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. But like you just said, whatever was on this call, she's less thinking about Lucy. Perhaps she even knew about it before. But whatever was said for the last half of this voicemail, that's news. Because it's kind of seeming like we're setting the stage for Bri to possibly know and Steven have his thunder stolen a little bit from him in the first half of the voicemail. I think she might know about that leading up to wedding day. But just like that, we're away from the voicemail. We're away from Lucy being flustered, and we are back in 2009. We are still sophomores. Lucy is waking up in bed with Bri, who has a shorter haircut, and it's clear that they just spent the holiday break together at Lucy's house, as Bri does not have a close relationship with her family. The you had something to say about what this scene sort of says about the focus of this episode. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, because we go from what's happening with them in modern day to going back to them being so close. They spent this holiday kind of together. So it's like setting up this tension of like they're closer than ever. So what is this going to look like when Brie does finally find out?
Yes, it is setting that up. And like Bree said earlier off camera, this episode is purely about how close, the closeness of Lucy and Bree. And like you said, that's
Hmm.
to set the tone for what's to happen later. But we are
Hmm.
back at Baird College, and we see that Steven spent his break alone because nobody likes him, right? But he spent it sulking around in Evan's place, dirtying up all the dishes. And I thought that his comment to Evan was very important because he tries to say to Evan, like, like Phoebishly, like, look, I'm trying to forget about it. I'm trying to get over you and Lucy. And as soon as I said that, as he said that to Evan, because mind you, Evan's just allowed him to use his place the last 2 weeks, I knew that whether he came in his gym sock or clipped his toenails in Evan's bed or did something with his loofah, he did something passive aggressive around that house to tell him he was displeased. And Evan makes a face when he sees that pile of dirty dishes when Steven leaves, because he's like, I did leave dishes in the sink, but I can get it real quick. And I feel like Steven's friends, Evan knew that Steven did that intentionally. Do you think that?
I agree. And I said when I was watching this that this is the perfect representation of what male friendships are like. The festering, the boiling feelings inside where they pretend that everything's great. Everyone believes male relationships are a lot less complicated than women, when actually they just do insidious things on the side to pay each other back instead of addressing how they really felt. So I think Evan is probably, of all the men, the closest to truly understanding how terrible Stephen is.
I would agree, except I think Wrigley's been on to Steven for some time. I think that his friends are smelling him. Like Wrigley and Evan, I 100% agree. The next scene, speaking of Wrigley, was kind of like a like because all of a sudden I thought last semester ended with Wrigley knowing that Pippa faked every orgasm, and they had this very cute platonic moment where he got her all the pink starbursts, and then we're that them sharing a kiss before class, and he's thanking her for taking care of him. We know because Drew passed away. I was like shocked by this, but also not. Anything to add?
I was not shocked. I knew that they would probably get back together because when something so heavy like this happened and grief is happening, the perfect thing to do is to
Mm-hmm.
become closer or to
Mm-hmm.
from heal by going to comfortable situations. Not only that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think Pippa and everyone else is so concerned about Wrigley. She needs to be as close as she can because I'm concerned
Mm-hmm.
about Wrigley. I literally was like, are we going to spend a whole season of him not being who he usually is, the comedic relief? Please, I need Wrigley to be who Wrigley is because I'm concerned for my own viewership. Okay?
And it's crazy because we see that from his friends too, and how some of his friends, they are supporting him, but there are times even in the prior seasons where Wrigley's at a party and people are counting on him to be the loudest person in the room and be the entertainment, and he was just like not okay. So like you said, we've been asking for seasons and wondering, is he okay? Now, fortunately, the only confirmation that we have that he's quote unquote okay is we see him show his face at Bri's wedding. So we know he's still alive in the flash forwards. So we know he doesn't ultimately unalive himself or anything, but I'm still worried about him.
Yeah, because he's
Anyways,
actually,
back you
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to add, because he's actually not okay. He's at the wedding, plastered drunk, all over the place. So he's still at this time reeling and trying to get it together. So, but he's alive.
And some may wonder, is part of him reeling because him and Bree have like a kindred connection, which we'll get to in later episodes. Is it platonic? Does it not turn platonic? Those are things we'll talk about in later episodes. But for now, we're back in the dorms, and the girls are linking back up, and they're talking about what every college student talks about their first day back to campus, what party we're going to tonight. Okay, and they're also catching up on each other's romantic relationships. Pippa, for the first time now that she's stepped away from Wrigley for the last couple weeks, admits to both herself and her friends that she is perhaps feeling drained from taking care of Wrigley. And maybe, just maybe, we see a sliver of she's not as happy as she's projecting being back with Wrigley. We also hear, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Bri claims that she hasn't talked to Oliver at all, and then she gets interrupted by Steven looking for Lucy. Does that sound right?
Agree. Also,
Okay.
Pippa is a
Okay.
brunette again. So lots of changes.
We'll take the wins where we can get them. Thank you,
We
Pippa. The
will take the
brunette,
wins. Okay. Yes.
the blonde needed to go. I'm so
It was
glad.
a mess. Oh,
Sonia, you are a beautiful person in real life, Sonia Mena, who plays Pippa, but the blonde. Also, the fact that Pippa and Wrigley are together in real life is crazy. I thought it was just Stephen and Lucy's character. They're actually
what?
dating. Yeah,
Why couldn't
yeah.
she actually be with Diana? Can you give the girls what they want?
Right. Yes, exactly for
It's
the
fine.
girls.
Wrigley
So,
Wrigley seems like
and
a good guy. It's fine.
the haircut looks great this season. So Bree started to talk about Oliver and how they haven't talked, but in walks fucking Steven the lurker, who's hunting for Lucy, and they go off to the chambers to fuck. Now, we were either spared or what's it stripped of the sex scene between them because we poke in at the beginning and then we poke in after they finished and they're talking to each other. Um, as this is happening, Pippa and Bree are walking around campus, kind of questioning to themselves if they're bad friends and or even just bad people for not intervening in Lucy's decisions, while also kind of acknowledging that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. They can give their input to Lucy, but whether she follows their advice, excuse me, they can't control that. And as they're walking around ruminating over this, they bump into Professor Oliver, who, mind you, that was so rude. I think he intentionally bumps into Bree and is like, Happy New Year, like shoulders her. Any thoughts on that?
I hated it, and I noted that they said after this happened, that was the worst case scenario, and I put why. Because that I actually don't have an answer to. Why do you think for them that was the worst case scenario? I know they fucked his car up. What did they expect, and how is this the worst?
I think Brie wanted at least to be acknowledged. I think Brie wanted a reaction, whether he met her with anger the next semester or whether he acknowledged her and there was like a little bit of cheeky, yeah, we did that, but the fun is over now. I don't think Brie had really bought into what the wife told her, which is you are just another girl at another Christmas party and there will be another one next semester. I don't think she knew that yet.
She wanted to
Do you
matter. She
agree?
wanted to. I agree. I think she wanted to matter. She wanted to feel special. And I think maybe from what you're saying, that moment taught her. And it makes sense thinking about the freshman. She's realizing she was just another toy.
And as we talk about toys, Steven's with his favorite toy, Lucy, and we see them just after they finished boning. And he points out how close her and Bree have gotten this semester, which I thought was interesting because they've been close, which Lucy points out to him. But I couldn't tell if Steven was poking at the fact at Lucy's ability to get closer with Bree, having while keeping a large secret in their relationship or if he was saying that like you guys have gotten close to leave the conversation open for Lucy to admit if she told Brie or not, and not because he cares about Lucy, but because he wanted to gauge whether or not he can hold that over her head for the rest of the semester,
And
in my opinion.
mind you, this comes from her outwardly talking about, oh, I know our friends hate it. I don't care. And then she's like, well, I kind of care. And then that's his response to bring up, like, oh, it's like she's constantly trying to progress the relationship, talk about how important it is, how beautiful this is. And he's constantly poking little holes. And I wrote in this part that this is one of those relationships that feel like a drug. We've all had that relationships where our friends absolutely despise it and it's almost intoxicating that everyone hates it, but it's our own little thing that no one can understand. I literally wrote down whether I want to call them like Stussy or leaving their names together. And I was like, both of those sound so terrible because this relationship is a train wreck.
Stussy is absolutely sending me. Let's call them Stussy. You know,
I
I'm
said,
for that.
and just like that, Stussy is back.
Stussy, we've been stoosed,
We've
folks.
been
We have been stoosed. Because you're right. They bond over the fact that everybody hates them, right? And Lucy believes that they're like in it together. And I think she's taken on a lot of this shame by lumping herself in with Steven. Like, I think that she knows Steven's a despicable person. And I think that she is like taking on that role with him, sort of, if that
I
makes
agree.
sense.
I think that Stephen loves that Stussy, that Lucy did something so terrible because it makes him feel like someone else is as terrible a person as I am. I think he likes that.
100% agree. 100% agree. And in the next scene, Steven just loves to know stuff about people and hold it over them. Like he likes to watch people squirm. It's very unsettling because now we're at the party, which is disco themed, I think, by the way. And Wrigley's in the corner, clearly grieving and not okay. And what Steven's doing is sort of like poking around at people in the living room. And he makes a comment when Evan walks up, seeing Bri and Lucy together, and he's like, so cute. And I think that he wanted him to worry about how close Bri and Lucy had gotten and the fact that they just spent winter break together, because I think he wanted him to question if Bri now knew that he slept with her best friend. So he's always like poking at people.
And I know Evan is sitting here regretting so bad that he ever told this man this. And I wrote that it is so annoying being a good person with a guilty conscience because you truly cannot always hold bad decisions. You can't just hold it and keep it moving. And it doesn't always pay to be a good person.
It's also just like I like Evan, right? I like him as a character. However, it speaks to that like bro code of feeling like indebted to tell Steven before he would ever mention things to Bri, you know, and it's just like that bit you
That
in the
misogyny,
ass.
and that misogyny keeps me from actually liking Evan. I actually don't really like anyone, but I like them watching them as characters, but I don't necessarily care for them. I can't explain it. I only really truly
Mhm.
like Pippa and Diana. They seem to
And
only have.
Wrigley, right?
Say it again.
And Wrigley,
Oh
or
yeah,
no?
Wrigley. Sorry, and Wrigley. Yes, they seem to be the only ones who actually kind of. Pippa and Diana have sense. Wrigley has a good heart, and the rest of them, I like Bree. She kind of annoys me, but
Mhm.
those are my three people. Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. So speaking of Brie, as I just mentioned, her and Lucy are closer this season. All of a sudden, Molly walks up, who was the girl that Evan kind of like fucked around with last semester while he was still in love
Did
with
you
Brie.
remember who she was?
Yes,
You
but I
did?
couldn't remember her name. I did.
I was like, who is this? And then I remembered the slap. And I was like, okay, so Molly is on Molly. Molly walks up, she's on Molly. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to remember who the fuck she even really is and why she is even here. Okay.
Right, because they made a big deal about her. They made a big deal about her somehow being nice to Evan despite slapping him just the last semester. So that's how everybody learns that Molly's on Molly, right?
Yeah. And
And
Wrigley's
Wrigley is
like, I want some of whatever is making her nice. Yeah. Yeah.
literally, he's like, okay, well, I don't feel good and I want to feel good. So his decision was made instantly, which makes Bree and Pippa off to the mission. So they end up getting someone to come out and give them Molly. And as they get in the car, first of all, I thought that they were going to get killed for a second based off the music. It was unsettling. But I guess what we were supposed to take away from that was Bree felt like the driver, who was hot from what we saw of him, was like a familiar face. And at first I thought, and tell me who you thought he was, I thought he was the guy who got handsy with her season 1.
I thought he was the guy who gave Lydia's brother the the pills. I thought that was important because we were gonna find out he was actually the dealer giving Lydia's brother the rape uh uh
The roofie.
the roofies. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna remember that later. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Put her in the writer's room, folks, because that would have been a good connection as well. So they come back in, they've got the goods, right? They've got their 6 pills, they split them up. And as they get back in there, Pippa spots
Diana. Wait,
Diana.
okay, I have to talk about this because just the moment, just like the queerness, you can see Diana's whole face light up when she sees Pippa. Like you just know that feeling, the tension when you see them. And then Pippa just spits out that like, yeah, I'm back with Wrigley. And you can immediately see Diana's like disappointment when she settles in. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what did you expect? Did you expect her not to move on? I think it was just kind of like, girl, we shared this kiss. Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But then Pippa lets it slip that, you know, Wrigley's going to take Molly, whatever. And Diana immediately gets concerned. And I love this about Diana because she is always the virtuous person in this group. She's kind of like the mom. This is what I mean by she has sense. And as mad as Pippa gets in that moment, what does she do? She takes her ass back over there and tries to talk Wrigley out of taking this medicine. What did you think of this, like, push and pull between them?
First of all, loved the moment where she spotted Diana. Loved the push and pull between them. And especially because we have the satisfaction of knowing that they end up together in the future, right? So it's like just this beautiful game of when and watching them blossom and be there for each other. So I ate that up as well. Um, I'll say that this is the second time this show has taught me something about drugs that did not know before. Like I did not
Agree.
know that yeah, like I think it's almost like important to watch this, I would argue, if you're in college,
Agree.
because yeah, the way Drew died, I didn't know that it was bad to split a pill in half or an extended release. I didn't know that that's bad, nor did I know that MDMA depletes all of your serotonin. So I was shocked by that, and I was also so scared for Wrigley's come down all in that moment.
I noted that it's interesting that his brother died of an overdose and they have not thought once about maybe we should chill the fuck out on taking drugs. Like no one thought about it.
Mm.
I'll be honest, until Diana snapped me back to reality, I didn't think about it. I'm like, "Oh, here we go another party." They have not taken this trauma and decided to make better decisions. If anything, they're still steamrolling ahead back into bad decisions. So we go back to them. Uh, Pippa tries to keep Wrigley from taking it. You see everyone else take it and Steven pretending to take it. And I noted that Steven loves to be in control. He purposely, to me, didn't take it because he wants to always be in control, see what's happened, never allow himself to be in a vulnerable situation.
Mhm.
Then Pippa tells Wrigley, you know, I'm tired. I just want to go home because they kind of have a rift where Wrigley's like, stop watching me, stop trying to be in control over what I do. I'm good. I want to take this. Then he says, you know, I'm sorry. I love that Wrigley will snap and then kind of
Mhm.
apologize. Like it
Yep.
always kicks in that like, hey, I am sorry. I'm just frustrated. My
Mhm.
brother died. And so she says, I'm gonna go. That also made me feel like, please do not leave this boy. Like, in a moment like this, watch him. And he's like, I'll just drink. You see her walk away, and then Wrigley admits, I already took it. What did you think?
I was scared. I was scared for him to already take it, but also I get it. Like, I get the state that he's in where nothing feels good, and I'm willing to risk how the come down feels if I can get 10 hours of release or relief from how I'm feeling. Like, I get it, and that's what makes substance abuse such a dangerous thing, because I completely understand why it's an outlet for some people and offers comfort. But I was super nervous for him. I was also like, I understood why Pippa went home, and I ultimately think I would have done the same thing. But I like wondered, like, she had to have been so anxious at home with him out of sight, you know what I mean? And like wondering even more. Like I imagine that that was probably pretty hard to do.
Wait, explain. Why did you understand why she went home?
Because like you said, I feel like she like there was a moment where she says to Wrigley like I'm not mad, I promise, like I'm just going home, but like a piece of her felt like after being with him for 2 weeks and like almost like he was under surveillance, like I think she felt like I don't want to be under I don't okay, he feels like I'm pushing him tonight, I don't want to, like let me take the night off. Like I think it was both self-protective and honoring his wishes because she didn't want to come across as like she was surveilling him. So I thought it was
Yeah,
both.
I love that perspective because I really did not understand, and I have such FOMO that I'm like, why would she want to leave at this moment? That makes a lot of sense, especially because I think Pippa is one of the more like reasonable ones. And
Hmm.
then immediately, as you were saying, like she just wants to give him a night off. They go into this euphoric ass moment where everyone is just on Molly, and you see like the different ways that everyone is experiencing this drug for a moment. You see the lightness of this episode. You see the fun party. If I was just someone
Hmm.
casually walking by and peeked in on what this show was, I'd be like, oh, a cute little teen show where everyone's just having a good
Hmm.
time. I was like, this can't last long, but it was really cool to see a moment where everyone was just kind of just under it and feeling it, you know?
And that's so like you were so on like on the money with Steven because when he learned that Molly dropped whatever anger she had towards Evan and was just like feeling happy, like not only does he like control, but he's like get this shit away from me. Like
Mhm.
he was disgusted by that. Like he's disgusted by all of them loving on each other when there's things going on behind the scenes. So I don't think he wanted to put himself in a euphoric state because yeah, like you said, he's very controlled over how he interacts with people.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. But he's like, I'm not going to let a second go by where I'm nice to anyone. He's like, I refuse to let
Yeah,
go.
that's exactly it. Okay,
And,
what happens next?
and then I see him staring at Bri and Lucy and how euphoric and of a good time they have. And it brings me back to the question you were asking earlier. Like, does he despise that they genuinely love each other and he doesn't feel that with anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think he does?
I'm asking.
Oh, uh, I listen, chat. What do you think? Like, I when I said I'm perplexed by this, I'm perplexed. I, I, I think a tactic of abusers is to isolate people. So I think a piece of him sees Bree as um somebody who can offer rational advice or like keep Lucy from being completely under his control. So part of me thinks that he resents their friendship because it like he wants her truly by herself. And then part of me thinks that like Steven's like some of the things he says like kind of funny, but he's like horrible. And like I genuinely think that part of him like despises Lucy. Like I genuinely think part of him despises Lucy and he hates the fact and he's looking at them like you fake fucking bitches. At least me and Evan have it out in the open and I know that he fucked Lucy. You guys are over here like do each other's makeup and like there's this huge secret between you. I think he hates it.
Me too. I agree. I feel like he hates that he has to know this and sit with this. And it's like you just
Hmm.
get to be happy go lucky. So then he goes outside. Lucy's out there, I think, having her euphoric like mesmerization. And he goes and tells her, I'm ready to go. And she's like, oh, okay, let me go say hi to Bree. He's seething. He's like, oh, I hate this. You just gotta go say bye to your best friend whose boyfriend you fucked. But then this cuts to no one being left except Bree and Wrigley. And they have this moment to me that feels like foreshadowing. She goes
Hmm.
to leave, he catches her outside and she goes to walk off. What happens in that moment where they're kind of talking outside?
she's smoking a cigarette. He's
Right.
like, "You smoke?" She's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "I'm gonna go home." And he's like, "In good conscience, I can't let you walk home." But you're right. There was a moment where the way he looked at her felt like he kind of saw Bri for the first time and how either beautiful she was or something. There was something to how he saw her sitting there.
I agree. The whole thing felt like foreshadowing. Even when they get to the bus stop, or I think before they get to the bus stop, and she says something to him, she calls him big. She's like, "Oh, well, you're big," and I'm like, the way she said it made me just be like, why did you say that? But they have such an intimate moment where they start to kind of unload. And for the first time, you see Wrigley return to the Wrigley we know. He's having like a really like light moment and he just laughs and he's carefree for the first time because he doesn't feel like Bri is judging him. And he kind of
Mhm.
divulges to her that he feels alone and like he lost his whole family because they're grieving the brother. They're saying that they're not blaming him, but naturally they probably are. Brother went up there to visit him. He's now gone. They were all doing drugs, understandable. And I think him and Bree relate on the fact that neither one of them really has a family. And I think it shows him like they're more connected than he knew, and they're both feeling the same feelings. What are your thoughts?
That so much, so much. First of all, completely this was even the start to their conversation, right? Like they're talking and all of a sudden Bree's like, "I had an affair with a 45-year-old professor who was married." And he's like, "How did I not hear about this juicy gossip?" And she said, "Well, because your brother died." And he like can't help but laugh.
It
Like
made
he
me
literally
laugh
was
too.
like, "Yeah, yeah." Like he was like, I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
But
of
she
course
just
I didn't hear
said
about
it.
it.
She didn't say when this
Exactly.
happened or oh blah blah.
Hmm.
But she said your
Uh-huh.
brother fucking kicked the bucket. Like he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, thank you. He is dead.
Ex
Can we just call a spade a
Mhm.
spade? Yeah.
It was the first time he wasn't tiptoed around and pitied and like this look upon him. Like she, and also I thought back to like times where even me and you have talked, and one of us has just had something really stressful going on and we need a distraction. Like, you know what? Tell me about what's happening in reality TV. Tell me about the stupid fight with you and your coworker. Like, tell me anything. And I feel like Bree's drama was like a bit of a like, oh, somebody else is having some stuff going on too. Like it felt good for him to not think about his situation for 3 minutes.
I agree. And it's funny because when we first started the episode and you were like, we talk every day, I was literally going to say, you're like my cup of coffee in the morning because some days you will wake me up. Some days you will distract me, take me away from things. And I think that's exactly what's happening in this moment. But it's actually interesting because they're both people that everyone treats as fragile. Wrigley is being treated as fragile right now because of his brother. Everyone acts like Bri is this innocent girl who's never been through, like, she's so innocent. She's the best person in the world, and they act like she's so fragile. They tend to not be real with her. They tend to be overprotective. So it shows that we're actually both deeper than people think we are. They just treating us like this little thing that could break at any moment. So it was like a lot of similarities in that moment.
That is so true. And that's bringing me back to even when Pippa like schedules that art class for Wrigley. You know what I mean? And like the reason was because Bree was in it, not because she assumed that he would like find it interesting or like thrive creatively. So it
Mhm.
is sort of this, yeah, like what is it called when you like don't believe in someone? Like what's the opposite of that? Like
When you do believe in them?
no, when you don't. Like doubt. No, I don't know. We'll have to circle back to that chat. I've like
Okay, you
literally
said the
just blanked on
opposite, so
that.
I'm trying to think of what's the but then they end up sleeping together and at the bus stop overnight. So they sleep
Oh, I
together
was gonna say, what
at
did
the
I
bus
miss?
stop. At the bus stop, just in this moment, they're waking up. And I remember looking over to my boyfriend and I'm like, this could never happen to me. My back hurts. There's no way that I would make it through this uncomfortable position. But whatever conversation they had, it was just, I feel like they were so high on this or so like into this moment, they just fell straight asleep. They were that comfortable.
And we're back with Steven. and Lucy, okay? Because he lured Lucy back to that room. Because here's the thing, like you said, she was in euphoric state, went to go say bye to Bri. He kisses her, right? And it's almost like they're having a moment of like the typical Stephen and Lucy, where the music would play and they would go home and have sex right away. No, they get back to the room and he interrogates her. And I thought this was like we can just outright say Steven drugged her, right? Like I know that she took the drug, but like by him not taking that, like it, I don't know, that's wrong, right? Like that's wrong of him to act like he took it and as if he was in the same state. I feel like it
I
just
get
made me feel so creeped out.
I get what you're saying. It's not necessarily wrong, but because we're already in this stage of manipulation and things, it's adding to that. It's not like it's an omission of what is it called when you're lying, but it's not technically a lie. It's like an omission of the truth or something like that.
Yes.
Like you're
Uh-huh.
omitting the truth. It's one of those situations where you're purposely putting someone in a position, pretending it's one thing, and it's actually like a whole nother thing. And like you said, he did all that to get to that moment where he knew she's like, I'm so high, like I'm on Molly, probably want to fuck, probably want to like, and he just cuts her at the knee, and it's like that feeling. He puts her in such crazy feelings of withdrawal. She's literally on a drug right now. And I can't even imagine what that's like, the up and down.
Him pretending to be on Molly too, and like them on the bed, and they're like, "Oh my God, like I just want to work things out." Like, like you can tell me anything. Tell me anything. Is there anything you haven't
Oh,
told
that was
me?
that
And
night?
yes, that was that night. And she ends up being like, there is one thing, and Steven thinks he's about to get his answer. He's about to be able to throw it in her face. Ha! I knew it, bitch, that you fucked Evan. But instead, she's like, I did have sex with I did have sex with Leo and I asked him to be more aggressive and he was just like disgusted with me. He was disgusted. And Steven's like, Leo's a prude. Nobody cares about that.
It made me laugh so hard because we know what he's doing and she doesn't. I laughed so hard, and then he's like, that's it. And he like,
Yes, I laughed so hard. He was like, are you kidding me? That's what I'm gonna get. Mind you, I forgot about Leo. So he punishes her for this, right? Like he knows that Lucy is peak MDMA, and he decides to go to bed knowing that she's gonna want to stay awake and talk to him. And it was so dark too because he purposefully took her away from the party where she could have been with everybody else who was on her level to be with him who was like this like suddenly like such lower level just to interrogate her and go to bed.
but that's a common
And
theme. He continues to do that when she's in a room with her friends having a good time. Oh, hey, like just shows up at the doorstep. He does it on purpose.
now, do you want to recap the part where Pippa goes to Diana's room? Because I think that that's what happens
I want to
next.
recap this part. She goes to Diana's room the next morning to go off about Wrigley. I literally wrote for no reason. There's no reason. We already hashed this out. Why are you here? She just wants to see her. That's it. And she tell like I thought this was so messed up. She literally tells her it's both of our fault that we called Wrigley's brother back, and Diana's like taken back. She's like, I'm not holding that. I'm not. I am not in any shape or
Yes.
form taking that on. And she's like, yes, we brought him back, but like they made their own choices on their own. She starts just going off. She starts unloading, and she gets down to the fact that it's like I can literally not stop thinking about you. This was so cute. This is one of my favorite will they won't they like kind of situations, and because we know that they're gonna be and they don't know, it feels so innocent and beautiful. And I just want them to be together. Like I just love this whole scene. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. I thought it was funny. You're absolutely right. She just went in there because she wanted to see her. It was messed up that she told her that it was both of their faults, but part of me feels like Pippa really does feel that way. Like part of me feels like she really was feeling guilty. Like, and that here's the thing, I don't remember, and maybe they intentionally left that out of season 2, or maybe I just have a shit memory, but I don't remember a scene where we saw Diana and Pippa sitting with Drew and convincing him to come back to school. I don't remember that. Do you?
Yeah, I remember them sitting together talking about it, kind of setting up something, and we don't really know what, but they're trying to figure out a way to help Wrigley. And then the scene comes where Diana's like, it's like a pan is showing Diana say, "Thank you for coming back,"
Correct.
and walks. What's Wrigley's brother's name?
Drew,
Drew. And walks
right?
Drew.
Drew.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So go ahead, you
Okay.
can take it away.
After that, Bree starts to go to Oliver's classroom. She's walking around to her classes. I think she may have just walked with either Lucy or Pippa. I don't have that in my notes. But as she peers around the corner, because she was just toying with the idea of walking past his office, I'm sorry, not classroom, she sees a young, thin, blonde girl walking out of her office just like she did the last semester. And right after that, we go into a scene where Evan is having a meeting with Professor Oliver, and it's clear to us that he has no idea at this current point that that's who Bree slept with.
And so you were talking about her snooping on the professor, the freshman. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, and Evan is in a meeting with Professor Oliver, so it's clear that Evan has not pieced two and two together. He does not know that that's. Go ahead.
Right before this, Evan and Wrigley have a little sit down. They're talking about Molly, and that's when Wrigley lets it slip that not only was she with an older person, he was married. So he already has that kind of in his mind, Evan, at this point. Then he goes into the meeting with the professor. So we think, oh, he's starting to piece it together as the viewer, but he's actually just going into this meeting for help. And then we see how the professor, I literally write the pedo professor because he's a fucking pedophile. Or predator, I'm sorry, predator professor, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't want to put pedophilia on him, but I put predator professor. So mind you that he just found that out. So it's interesting. He went right to him for advice, but actually he just needed advice. And I feel like the professor was condescending as fuck. How did you feel?
I wrote that in my notes. He was so dismissive. He was telling him that he needs to do more thinking on his future, to make a snide comment telling him to drink electrolytes. Evan looked fine. He wasn't looking hungover or, not presentable. You thought he
He
did?
looked
I didn't think he looked hungover.
I think he looked a little sweaty, like as if you could tell, or maybe he reeked of the alcohol. But who cares? Like I came here for advice. You're not my dad. So it
Right.
was very interesting. I noted that he was asserting a power dominance over Evan. It was kind of just still like, I'm a dean, you're a student. You want me to tell you what to do with your life? Get it together. He's a little He has a little bit of a menace. This predator professor.
Yep, and his wife is a predator too. Like I think the both of them should be behind bars. Like they're that little duo that they're doing. They're like running a scheme at Baird College, like poaching freshman
At
girls.
minimum, they should be fucking fired and away from children, away from college students.
Because seemingly it's always freshmen, right? Bree was a freshman last year. This
Yes.
girl's a freshman. That's concerning. In the next scene, we go from Oliver talking to, I'm sorry, we go from Evan talking to the pedo professor. I'm just going to call him that too, honestly. This is
No,
a fake
predator,
pedo,
predator.
predo professor. To Lucy talking to her, I would assume this is the dean of her department or something, but she's talking about her allegations against Chris, which the dean says that Chris has vehemently denied. And Lucy says that she just wants to drop it. She doesn't want to press charges. And she doesn't want this to go anywhere, really. She said it was a private conversation but between herself and friends, and she doesn't want to do anything with those allegations. Do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that even when she says she doesn't want to do anything, they're kind of concerned and like, are you sure? Because if you need to tell us something, because most institutions in real life will be like, great, it's not that big a deal. well, come to us if you need anything else, goodbye. But they were actually invested, like, listen, if this is something, let us know. It's also interesting that the family would feel so, you can tell this is an entitled family. They
Hmm.
would make a report about a false accusation because most people would just want it to go away, but like they're trying to attack the accusers
Hmm.
to get ahead of it and to victim blaming at the very best. And it's like, it's just so interesting the way this is being turned that her accusation is more of a issue than the actual thing that's happening. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. The whole thing is just so convoluted and very dark, an element in this story. Um, in the next scene, we go to Wrigley apologizing to Pippa for lashing out on her, followed by Steven knocking on Lucy's dorm to tell her that um and Lucy, okay, so he knocks on Lucy's dorm and she's like, MDMA wasn't so great for us, huh? And mind you, Steven didn't take any MDMA. And he responds, and he's like, no, I don't feel good because not because of MDMA, but because you were fucking Evan last year. Lucy denies this so well at first that I genuinely wondered if she forgot about it entirely, if they added it in as a fake plot point and like we were supposed to believe that, but it didn't happen. Like she denied it so well. Did you feel that way?
I felt that way when he was trying to pull it out of her and he was like, "Are you interested in any of my friends? I'm interested. Your friends are hot." And the way that she didn't even think about Evan, I said too, she must have this buried so far because she's so ashamed of it that it actually didn't happen in her mind. She is
Mm-hmm.
like, "This is tucked away. This is literally no one will ever know this because Evan possibly wouldn't tell." That I honestly think it's not, it's something that is like, what? That's crazy. I don't think she lied well
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the type of person, if you accuse me of something so outlandish, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? The anger that will come to my body for you to think that I lied about something or did something so insane. But she's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, what?
Right.
So maybe I guess she did lie pretty well in a sense of like until he was like, "Oh, I know for sure,"
Uh-huh.
she didn't break, you
Yep.
know.
Mhm. And then she broke. Like then she was like, "Okay, like I'm so sorry." And Steven tells her that he doesn't know if he can forget about things or not. And I guess the face that Lucy's making at Steven makes him ask her, "Are you scared of losing me or are you scared of me?" And the answer is obviously that everybody's fucking scared of you.
I honestly, in this moment, was like, "No, she's scared of losing you." It took me the rest of the episode to be like, "Ugh." But in that moment, I actually thought I was like, "She's just scared to lose you. She loves you that much. That much." I honestly didn't feel in that moment she was scared of him. But it's not so much fear. And this is what I tell women, especially working in domestic violence. Even though you don't think that you're scared of your partner in an abusive relationship, oh, they won't hit me. You are still scared of the way they will respond to certain things. So you're absolutely right. It was fear of what he would do. And also, let me know, please, the character who plays Lucy, don't ever get any Botox. Mind you, I just got Botox, so I'm not against it. But her facial expressions and her acting are so good. She is such a great actor. I believe every little bit of
Me
her
too.
chills and how frazzled she gets. Don't ever get any work done because her facial expressions, the way that the things she can do, I'm like, girl, I believe it like I'm watching this happen to real people. Yeah. And then we know Stephen goes, we'll see how this goes, yada yada.
Completely agree. I'm locked in when I'm watching the episodes. I have to remind myself that these are not real people. This scene was like difficult to watch, and I'm sure some other people can like relate to that. But like anybody who's ever, like you said, like had to tiptoe or placate for someone, like watching Lucy have to control her facial expression so much while Steven is studying her so that she doesn't look scared or that she gives off loving or even like the exasperation in her voice. She like tries to get it under control because you can hear that she's nervous. Like she's trying to get all of that under control because he is just like scrutinizing and studying her. And it was like, yeah, like it was heavy and like triggering to watch. Like it made me think back to being in moments with someone explosive who you're just not sure how they're going to react, and you're trying to either survive the situation, survive the moment, or make things work still at that point. But it was like, whoa.
This is how I know we're best friends because it's going to come later, but I literally wrote that same thing. I said, this is someone who's in a relationship with someone they're trying to constantly manage the situation so that it
Mm.
doesn't get worse. I don't know if you've seen the viral interview going around with Cher and what's her name? Cher and then that couple who everyone's talking about them being in an abusive relationship. Dax Dax something
Oh,
and Kristen Bell.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And in that interview, she's constantly trying to manage his emotions. And I wrote down Lucy and Steven Stussy is literally Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell if they continue a relationship where you're so used to managing their emotions. I think in that interview, Kristen Bell goes, "Oh, he's self-deprecating." She's trying to reduce the harm that can
Mm-hmm.
happen. She's just constantly managing every situation because of how explosive he is. We see it
Mm-hmm.
in the scene later with the karaoke. She's just constantly trying to, oh, let's do this, let's do that, just outplaying
Mm-hmm.
his possible actions and trying to manage every scenario. It actually I'm holding my breath watching
Yes.
her. It's so interesting that you said that. I wrote the exact same thing down, but I noticed it later on. You caught it
Mm-hmm.
early. That's exactly what she's doing.
And her going to everybody to like try to manage them is her fear of how Steven will react when others talk about him. You know what I mean? Like even her being like, "It's okay, like we're fine." Like he actually has a very valid reason to talk to me that way, actually.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
she is just so, and it's just so awful to watch, right? Because he would never do the same thing for her. The reciprocation is zero, you know? But the episode ends with going back to the wedding. Bri is still in the hallway, but kind of playing it off as if she just had nerves and as if she didn't just get a horrible voicemail from Steven, who's in the gala at her wedding. And she walks down the aisle, and Steven is smirking at Bri. And I thought in this moment, I think that he both thought I underestimated you, Brie, or and also you really are a twisted bitch. Like I think he thought both about her because I think that he knew that whatever's at the end of that voicemail shook her. So for her to make the decision to go forward with it and get married anyways, like I think like he almost had like a little bit of not respect for Brie, but he was like, okay, yeah, fuck it, right? We're just going to hell. Get on up there and do your thing then. I guess we'll see what happens after.
So I disagree. I understand completely what you said because that's what I thought at first. I believe he was basking in the moment, feeling like, oh, this is still happening, but I tainted it. No matter what happens, even
Mm,
though Bree is walking down, he is basking and looking at Evan, knowing that no matter what, I know I was such a big part of your wedding and tainting whatever purity and joy this wedding could have been. I think
mm,
he thought Bree was gonna go down that aisle, smirked at him like, "Oh, watch me fuck all this shit up." I think he thought she was gonna get up there and say, "I don't," cause a fucking scene and fuck
mhm,
her whole wedding up. I think he thought, "Oh, she's looking at me because she knows that I know, and we're about to go, and this is about to be a shit show." I think it was when she actually said, "I do." You saw his like, wow, like the audacity of them to not give a fuck about all the work that I did to like you said the long play. So, and I also wrote that like I don't believe that Evan is so upset that I'm sorry, Steven is so upset that Evan slept with like the love of his life. I think that he feels like I marked my territory
Mm-hmm.
on this thing, and
Mm-hmm.
the audacity of you, another dog, to come piss at my pole. It is like, how dare you? I'm going to get back at you. And I think it pissed him off that he wasn't able to taint everyone else's joy the way his is already. Go ahead.
It was very much know your place. You are so spot on. It was very
Yes.
much know your
Hmm.
place. All of my friends are supposed to be never coming against me. You know what I mean? Like, and we see episodes where people do start to push back against Steven and woe is me, victim Steven. But there was also like a little bit of a glimmer from Bri of like, fuck you to Steven. I'm still gonna marry him anyways. You're not gonna ruin my wedding day completely. That I was like, ooh. And I'll end with there was a theory I saw online because like obviously everybody's forming predictions of like what was the call, right? And some people are predicting, I saw someone say on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, that they think that that Alex needs money, Bri's foster brother, and that she walks down the aisle and says, I do to Evan regardless, because she's going to give Alex the money he needs when she has access to Evan's money. I don't feel like Bri is that diabolical, but if she is, then she's validly saying that she's a horrible person in the hallway. Like if she is only marrying Evan for his money to then be with Alex, that would be a plot twist.
But then that wouldn't, if that's the reason, then hearing the message would make her feel like, oh, I'm even more valid for fucking Evan over for the money.
Yeah.
One. Two, I wrote this. I knew Bri would marry him regardless. And I don't think it's necessarily like, I want the money, but the money and the stability and the fact that Bri comes
Mm-hmm.
from nothing, the fact that Bri is unraveling because she has nothing to focus on. Oliver was gone, Evan was gone, like back in time. That shows that if Bri feels like she has nothing and no one, and she already had that in her life, she's trying to run from that. At least with Evan, I have his family, I have him groveling for me. I feel like I put down as one of my questions, like, if you were Bri, knowing that you came from where you came from, would you choose stability and the money over like what you think would be an actual healthy relationship?
I would think that the stability, the money, and the way Evan treats her for the most part would make me fall more in love with that person coming from that place. Like I would think that because like right, like there like part of that's in my relationship. Like I love Christian for many reasons, but I love how safe I feel with him and the stability in our
Shout
relationship.
out to Christian, our Leo
Shout out to
man.
Christian, love you. But there's something about choosing to be with someone who offers you consistency and stability and sure, they might not bring you home flowers 6 days a week, but they care for you in ways that you truly need and appreciate. And, like they talk about the whole like stages of love, like romantic love, whatever. But yeah, I feel like if I was Bri, I'm definitely marrying Evan.
So if I was Bri, I'm definitely not. But I also came from love. So I came from not only love, but also independence. I'm speaking from a place of privilege in the fact that, like, I know how much of a genuine and vulnerable person I am. Knowing that you fucked my best friend and thinking that you
Oh
could
yeah, I
go
forgot
to that
about that.
extent,
Oh fuck.
I could never get. I'm a Leo as well. My ego is so
Mhm.
big. I don't believe that I would never think you do it again. I always Me always constantly having to wonder, me having Lucy over, me knowing that you did that while we were together and it broke me like that and sent me into that spiral. I don't think that I could do it. I think I would have fucked that wedding up, made a
Mhm.
scene, but I'm also again speaking from my privilege and my stability. If I didn't have that stability and came from Bri, where who she was, I don't know that I would have fucked my future up. I probably
Mhm.
would be a lot more calculated and the way my life would turn out because I didn't have it. because I grew up poor but also had love and stability, I'm
Mm-hmm.
fine with being poor again. I don't give
Mm-hmm.
a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck.
Yes, exactly. And I forgot about the part where he fucked to the best friend. I was wondering why is she saying healthy, healthy relationship. I forgot about that. I would never get over that ever, ever, ever. I would never get over
She
that.
won't either.
It would have
And
been
that's
over
that's the
immediately.
issue.
Yeah, no.
Hmm.
Me, Leah, I would never be able to stay with someone to feel no, no, no. No, no, no. Like I no. I would have been too angry. And like you said, if I
Hmm.
found out at the wedding Lisa, Lucy, Smoosey, Stooshy, she's getting slapped. So is Steven, so is Evan. Everybody's gonna see me walk down the aisle. I would be pissed. But that's coming from the place of we have no idea what Bri did. Like, what did you know what I mean? Like, if she's hearing that and she's like, I can forgive them. Honestly, I did way worse because, maybe she's feeling guilty because her and Wrigley do end up more than platonic, and maybe it lasts right up until the wedding. Like, I don't know. I'm just spiraling. Tell us all of your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what your predictions are. We are going to come back for episode 2 to
Wait, wait,
recap
wait.
that.
Did you have any questions? I had a couple questions.
Oh, let me hear your questions. I had none. I asked them along the way. I asked my questions along the way.
Okay. One, do we think Bree and Wrigley end up fucking?
Yes.
Agree. Two, do these characters are they truly friends with each other? Do they genuinely care about one another? And is it possible to truly do awful things to people you love, but you genuinely still care about them?
Yes. All of them care about each other except for Steven. All of them care about each other in their own convoluted, twisted ways as they're coming to know who they are as individuals and as they're dealing with substance abuse and identity issues and grieving and just having a buffet of temptations, right? Like, they're learning how to be good friends and good people along the way, but I do think everybody cares about each other except for Steven.
It's interesting because as a person who's been to therapy and as a human, I agree with you.
Hmm.
As a specifically black person, I disagree because
Hmm.
I have watched throughout my life so many non-black friend groups in real life as they're growing up, as they're gaining their identities in this friend group, fuck each other's boyfriends, swap partners, and
Oh,
all of
yeah.
them get over it. I've watched that. I
Hmm.
have never ever seen that in a black friend group. You will literally get your ass beat. You will literally, someone will get stabbed, someone will get shot, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And it will break the whole friend group. I believe because of all the trauma that black people experience, it is almost impossible to get over such egotistical things like that. Like,
Hmm.
I would never think that we'd be in a friend group again if you fucked my boyfriend. And
Hmm.
everyone's got to choose.
Hmm.
So I do believe if we're taking like all of that out and I'm just watching it, I do think that they care about each other. I
Hmm.
do believe they're developing their own identities and figuring out who they are. And I do think it's beautiful that they're doing it within a friend group, growing together and still
Hmm.
ending up being friends at the end of it. It's all
Hmm.
messed up, but I
Hmm.
do think there's purity at the end of it. I agree with
Are
you.
they good friends to each other? Absolutely not. No.
Not.
And I love you sharing that perspective as well because that's very real. Because yeah, like, you know, I'm looking back, like this is me at 30, right? If you asked me this question when I was 23, I would say I would not be friends with any of these bitches. Like I would not be friends with any of them. All of you are getting cut off. This would never fly, ever fly. But at 30, I'm watching and I see Lucy and it's like it's so messed up that she has sex with her best friend's boyfriend, right? And yet simultaneously she is so unhealed and does not know the right thing to do that she thinks that she's protecting Bri because she doesn't want to be another person who disappointed her and ultimately let her down. And then also I think how embarrassing it would be to be in your coconut bra after just being broken up. And whoever comes and hits on me next, well, you're about to make me feel good. And like you already are familiar with this person. Now, I've never hooked up with one of my best friend's
I
boyfriends.
literally have that as a question. I said,
Yeah.
have you ever done anything like this?
No, no. And I would never be friends with someone who did it to me. So that's point blank. But in the sense of could I see how their specific situation happened because we're watching all of them, I can. And I'm like, yeah, she's being a bad friend by not telling Bri and giving her the choice, right? While I also think that she genuinely either she knows that and she's just not ready to lose Bri and let Bri choose to not be with her, or she truly is putting a lot of pressure on herself to not disappoint her. Either
And
way.
it's a testament to what I said earlier. Everyone treats Bri like she's fragile because at this moment, Bri
So
is the
true.
only one who does not know. Evan knows, Steven knows, Lucy knows. They all know that
Mm-hmm.
each other knows. And Bri is the only one in the dark. And it would be so disgusting to me with that added layer. I feel like I am trying to understand because I don't know if you've ever seen Euphoria, but
Mm-hmm.
when Cassie fucks Maddie's boyfriend, they're best friends, right? This happened to me. This was like a traumatic story that till this day I still have trauma from knowing my best friend was fucking the boy that I lost my virginity to. It was really that traumatic for me. And so of course I feel very angry towards people who do this because I don't
Yeah.
think that I would.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in the show Euphoria, there's this woman who's talking to Maddie, like she's like a mentor to her, and she tells her, "I was that girl before because someone gave me validation, like you said, at
Mm-hmm.
just the right time. I was
Mm-hmm.
just insecure, I was going through it, and a guy preyed on that at just the right moment." And that is also what keeps me from genuinely liking Evan because he absolutely preyed on her.
Agreed.
He had been crushing on her the whole time. He knew
Agreed.
that Brie was this cute, innocent girl, but he was so into Lucy
Mm-hmm.
that and so angry at Steven for how Steven acts that he
Mm-hmm.
absolutely did that moment with intention, and he
Mm-hmm.
had already had those intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy did it purely out of feeling the lowest she ever felt.
Agreed.
Is it wrong that she loves her friend so much and that being her best friend's boyfriend didn't stop her? Absolutely. But
Yep.
you give someone validation at just the right time, and that's what happened. So I agree with you.
Would you tell Bri if you were Lucy, and at what
Yes.
moment? Immediately after or when?
It probably would take me all the way to the moment we're going to see in episode 2, but I would have I would have chosen telling Bree over ruining my entire career. I would have had to been okay with knowing that and my guilty conscience, knowing that I'm getting this off my chest for the right reasons. So I
Mm-hmm.
probably would have told before, but I couldn't have. I wasn't gonna let this man manipulate me.
I would have told her immediately and say, I'm gonna have the last laugh, Steven, because regardless of how crazy you think it is, you're going to jail for murder. And then I would have gone straight to the police station. You think I fucking care about admitting to infidelity? I fucked him. I'm sorry. I'm a bad friend. I got to go to the police station because Steven murdered someone last semester.
And knowing Lucy, she'd probably go visit him every day till he got out.
And you know what? That's crazy too. Like, I keep forgetting, like, that's part of their trauma bond too. Like,
Yes.
she is carrying this. The fact that Steven can be so mean to her while just risking her exposing that dark of a secret is crazy. I need Diana to do some more shit to him behind the scenes, like how she was actually not cut off of her dad's credit card and she actually did pass the LSAT. Like Lucy needs to start to get creative and figure out how to lose him.
But to be honest, that scene with Diana doing all that calculated came from self-preservation versus trying to punish Steven. She did that
100%.
specifically out of self-preservation to get out of the situation and keep him from toying with her. She was
Yeah.
smarter. She was smarter. She had learned him enough
Uh-huh.
to know to do that. That's the
Lucy
only
needs
reason
to
he
get to
left
that
her alone.
stage.
Yeah. So yeah.
Rushed. On a rush, Lucy needs to get to that stage. Like you need to you need to preserve yourself. But anyways, everybody, let us know what all of your comments are. That was episode 1. Any more closing remarks that you have?
No, this is, I know you asked me before we recorded what's one word to describe this season, and I said a whirlwind
Uh-huh.
because I know every season has been like this, but wow, what a roller coaster ride. It's just push and pull, and I'm literally feel like I'm in the eye of the tornado, and then I'm just getting jerked back around.
I feel like I'm in the thick of it. They better, I mean, they probably won't, but I wish they would stick with the 3 episode release. I kind of need that. I need to watch more than one episode at a time because there's so much going on. I can't believe so far, knock on wood, I was a little nervous that this season wouldn't be as good as the last season. But knock on wood, like this season grabbed me, brought me in close. Like I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
I would say these writers and the producer and director, this is a great, it's not corny, it's very, as someone who
Hmm.
spent years in DV, they do a great job at showing this, and I just love it so much. I had another thing to say, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Loving
Oh,
it.
oh, trigger warning to everyone for episode 3. Go ahead, because I still haven't watched it.
Okay, trigger warning episode 3, about halfway through, they bring back around because episode 1, we've already mentioned the allegations that Lucy made against Chris. But episode 3, that's brought back around in just a very insidious way. It's very triggering to watch how they're talking about this incident. And then at the end of the episode, it's very triggering if you're somebody who can't watch scenes that feel like SA. You should skip Lucy and Alex at the end. It just feels very awful and dark to watch. So that's a trigger warning for everyone.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
wanted that to be clear for people ahead of time.
Yeah.
Wait,
That
was it
was
the
the hard
scene?
one.
Was it the scene right before where they end up not hooking up?
No. It's
Oh, okay. Okay,
eventually they
just
do.
worse. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
eventually they do and it gets worse. And
Okay.
it's yeah, like to be clear, it is consensual, but it just feels so gross that it doesn't like it just it made me feel uncomfortable and anxious and heavy. But
Good
that's
to
the
know.
trigger warning for everybody. Make sure that if you want to, which of course you want to, hear more from my best friend, Bri, make sure to check out and follow her podcast, Bri the Black Sheep. I'm going to put a link to it in the details of this episode so that you guys can follow her, check her out, rate her podcast 5 stars.
You can also follow me on Instagram at Brie, Brii, dot like the cheese. So follow me. Yeah.
And make sure to hype this episode on YouTube, like this episode, comment, share it with a friend. I'm so sorry, Stassi, but we're coming for your jobs. We want to be the official podcast for Tell Me Lies. Check in with us every single week. We'll be here. We'll be talking about it. And make sure to rate Positively Uncensored 5 stars too.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.